Hi everyone, I'm Susie, I'm American, and I've been living here in Dijon, the capital of Burgundy, France, for almost 17 years. I made a video back in November about the pros and cons of living here. In the video I mentioned, kind of in passing and at the end of the video, that one of the downsides of living here was the gray weather. And yes, the weather can be gray here. We're not exactly on the French Riviera. And it's not just an impression. I saw online that in 2023, Dijon had less sunlight than the average city in France. I'll link to the video below, and if you're interested, you can check it out. Back then, in early November when I filmed the video, we were actually just at the very beginning of months of relentlessly gloomy skies. Now it's early March, and I think we're finally emerging from months and months of grisaille, as they call it here, which means grayness, gloominess, dullness. We've finally had some sunshine over the past few weeks, which you can see, which has been really great because for some reason this year the long extended winter dreariness really affected me for some reason. When I started to realize how profoundly the weather was affecting me this year, I started to take little shots of videos to document it so that I could share it with those of you who may be considering a move to Dijon, especially those of you who may be affected by sunlight deprivation. So in this video, we're going to rewind and discuss what the weather has been like here in Dijon over the past few months. And I have plenty of video footage that I'm going to share with you as well. The recent return of the sunshine these past few weeks has sparked something in me again. You may have noticed that I haven't posted any new videos over the past few months. Well, there were definitely several factors at play. I can't help but attributing my lack of motivation and creativity on the dreary weather. It was really all I could do for the past couple months just to manage my basic work and family responsibilities.
Earlier in the long gray season, at the end of November, we did get some snow, which brought that magical festive feeling, which is nice. Snow is rare here, and so every time we have even a little bit, it sort of feels like an event. December's short days were brightened, as always, by Christmas decorations and holiday celebrations throughout the city and at home. December was also very dreary in terms of weather, but I didn't yet sense that it was necessarily affecting my outlook thanks to the gaiety of the decorations and all of those holiday festivities. But then January arrived, along with its short days and wet, gray weather. We went out to the countryside outside of Dijon on January 5th for a visit to the Bussy-Rabutin castle, and we shot a little video while we were there, and you can see it was kind of gray and rainy. It was really a preview of the weather pattern that sort of settled in over Dijon over the following 6 or 7 weeks. January was also when I was trudging my way through what seemed like overwhelming amounts of work responsibilities, which must have also affected me. I remember when the idea to regularly document this gray weather phenomenon came to me. It was on January 21st, amid a particularly dense fog. By that point, weeks of persistent grayness had already started to take their toll on me, but the fogginess that day was so notable and seemed to sum up my own feelings at that time, of feeling a bit stuck, of not being able to see how I'd be able to emerge from that challenging period. And over the following month, I captured footage whenever I ventured outside, not as a scientific study, but as an honest portrayal of Dijon's typical winter atmosphere, which felt especially oppressive this year. What you'll see now is a montage of my daily life from January 21st to February 21st, 2025. I've included diverse perspectives of me from walking the streets, cycling through neighborhoods, and occasionally in the car driving around. You'll notice how the weather sometimes transforms from sunny to gray or vice versa within a single day. One literal bright spot was January 26th. We went to Ladoix-Serrigny for the Saint Vincent festival, an annual event that's in a different local wine producing village every year, which includes wine tasting and lots of other festivities. I had never been to Saint Vincent before, despite having lived here for many years. My husband never seemed too interested in going because he had memories of it being a cold, boring affair as a child and having been dragged there by his parents, so we'd just never gone. But by the time that the end of January had rolled around, I think I was desperate for a little excitement and something new, so we decided to go, and it was amazing, in large part because we actually saw the sun that day, and the event itself was a lot of fun. But you can see the sky had gone back to being gray by the early afternoon, despite the festivities. And beyond just the absence of sunlight this winter, we had a substantial amount of rainfall too. Good for the grapes, some might say. Let's hope that's true. At the end of January, the grayness continued, and to add insult to injury, around January 30th, the climate started attacking me in another way. I noticed my allergy is starting to act up. My eyes were watery and itchy. I mention this because I have been asked about allergens in Dijon as well, and for me, my allergies always seem to surprise me earlier than I expect every year. I always think it's still winter. Why am I having these issues? Apparently, the alder, hazel, cypress, and ash pollens were already out by then, so I must be allergic to at least one of those. It must be the alder, since I know I'm allergic to birch, and I think they're in the same family. Anyway, friends confirmed feeling allergy symptoms around that time as well. And I saw this article in the local paper about how alder and hazel pollen levels were really elevated a few weeks later. And I'll circle where Dijon is on this map. You can see the levels were sky high around then. Most of the time I get around by bike or on foot, so I'm outside pretty much every day exposed to the elements. And I actually don't mind, despite my allergies, because I'm pretty well equipped, and being outside is literally invigorating. And my poncho is a lifesaver. I don't only wear it in the rain and in the dark. I find it really does cut down on wind and makes my whole bike commuting experience more enjoyable. And it does make me aware of how chilly and damp and dark the weather is basically all the time in the winter, since I'm out biking in it almost every day. By mid-February, thankfully, more frequent sunshine finally began to return. Somewhere around February 13th, there was a shift. I noticed we had 2 sunny days in a row, then 3, then 4. It seemed like we had turned a corner, and the weather has been pretty decent since then. The temperatures are warming up even. The days are getting longer. We just spent an admittedly relatively gloomy week in the mountains. Most of the weather was kind of gray. We were with our kids and a bunch of friends, but it was so nice to have a real vacation, which definitely helped. I went for hikes with friends, we went to the pool, and I even did a little skiing, including on this one gorgeous day last Friday when it was really nice and sunny out.
It's early March now, the daffodils are out, and spring is just around the corner. My workload has lightened, and I'm feeling optimistic about several projects that we're working on that I hope to be able to share more about with you in the coming months. I don't want to squash anyone's dreams about coming to live here in Dijon, but on the other hand, several of you have mentioned that you're interested in maybe coming and living here. So I just wanted to make sure that you had the full picture of what the winter can really be like. What do you think? Is the winter weather in Dijon a deal breaker for you? Let me know in the comments below. I hope this video was informative, and let me know if you have any other questions about life in France or Dijon specifically. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, à bientôt!